Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to hopefully it'll be a new adventure in my life personally. 3 and 2 baseball and softball talk. With the coronavirus, we're in day 7,013 of the voluntary quarantine. As a baseball guy, I'm losing my mind. Some encouragement from the family. Um, they saw my depression was getting worse and worse on a minute by minute basis. So they encouraged me to start some type of a podcast. We started out on Anchor, which is a free podcast platform. Still trying to get the episodes on the air. I think with the pandemic, their people are probably not in the office doing what they do. So they've been late to get the first 3 episodes put up on Anchor. So shout out to the people on Facebook that follow me personally. Their words of encouragement and ideas. So we decided we weren't going to wait for Anchor because the questions and comments have just been blowing up. I'm not here to be Joe Rogan. This is just a avenue for all of us, baseball and softball fans and players, umpires, to get together and throw the ball around the field a little bit. Fortunately, I could see by the video feed, you can see reflections off the screen. Like I said, I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have fancy stuff. I'm doing this on my beloved Dell laptop. Hopefully, it'll get better as we go. This isn't about anything but the game of baseball and softball. So I'm going to kind of go back over the first 3 episodes in case they do not debut. I know there's a lot of legal wrangling that has to go on before you can really start broadcasting over the internet. Blah blah blah. Signed a lot of agreements lately, copyright stuff, and hopefully YouTube channel will open some things up for us. So if you see it on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and that's how we get some advertisement in here to help move along 3 and 2 baseball, softball talk. I'm going to start off with, we had in episode 1. I'm going to try to keep these podcasts within 30 minutes. I could talk about baseball and softball all day, but everyone has lives, and 3-hour podcasts I don't think are anywhere in my near future. But going over questions I've gotten from people over the years, and these are questions that I get asked even to this day, concerning just baseball in general, softball in general. Some of the questions that come up. A lot of grandparents now have grandkids that are starting to play, and if they didn't play ball in their youth or having knowledge about the game today, they'll ask, about bats. Aluminum bat, wood bat, composite bat, carbon fiber bats, whatever, and they'll say, "Hey, what do you recommend?" And I tell them, let the child, especially in the rec age, let them choose the bat. They know what feels comfortable to them, what's not too heavy, what's not too long. When they start moving into older ages and into some of the travel leagues and stuff like that, they'll get input from their coaches. They'll see what the other kids are out there playing with. It's a good opportunity to maybe pick up another player's bat, take it out there, take a few hacks, in the box, and see if one of those bats fit them better. But it's sad to see, and it's kind of laughable to us umpires to see these kids in the lower age groups out there rocking $400 or $500 bats, and they got a $3 swing. Bats are not going to hit the ball any better. It comes down to mechanics. Kids listen to their coaches. Nowadays, you have a coach for almost every position on the field. So, just good mechanics at the plate, hand-eye coordination, which is just built over time. So it's whatever the best bat you can afford. And that goes for playing equipment, for umpires. I always tell young umpires coming in, hey, what kind of gear should I get? And I tell them, get the best quality equipment you can for the cost of what you're able to spend. Tell them, don't try to buy the best right off the bat. Buy the best stuff you can afford. You get some game checks, a couple tournament checks under your belt. You can go out and basically buy the same equipment that the major league guys have. It's all readily available through, Umpatire, POS. I'm sure I'm leaving out a bunch of them. Shirts, belts, pants, shin guards, chest protectors, masks, or if you use a helmet or doing a traditional mask like I do, you can get the best out there. It costs money, but your safety behind the plate and on the field is just as important as a player's. Remember, we're the third team on the field, so you get the best equipment you can afford at the time. You can always upgrade. A lot of the umpire forums that I'm on, and Facebook pages. I'm even a member in a couple of the used equipment Facebook pages. Guys all over the country are upgrading, getting out of the sport, unfortunately, or upgrading to equipment or stuff that they're cleaning out the garage they have. This stuff is relatively cheap. Some of the equipment costs you more to have it shipped to you than to purchase it. So you can get some really good deals. Upgrade some pads on your mask. Upgrade to a higher level chest protector. Stuff like that. And you can really outfit yourself with some really great quality equipment for relatively low prices. Your clothing, that's going to be a never-ending thing. I usually get one season out of a pair of umpire pants because the amount of games I do, the washing machine takes a toll on that heather, that gray, dark charcoal gray color, and next thing you have a pair of heather gray pants, and 1970 is gone, and we don't wear heather gray anymore. It's the dark charcoal pants, so it's a $50 to $75 purchase. You're going to get 400 to 500 games out of that pair of pants if you buy good quality. I'm not going to mention names. I personally use Smitty pants, and then my shirts are anything from officials.com to Umpatire, whatever. I go for whatever's the cheapest, because these shirts, you'll go through them. I don't care how many times you wash them. They'll start fading. They'll start tattering. And next thing you know, you look unkept out in the field. And that's not the professional appearance that we want to make out there. Because believe it or not, your appearance does matter on the field of play. If you come out there looking like you slept all night in your clothes, the respect level you may expect from the coaching staff is probably not going to be there. But if you come out there looking right, dressed and pressed, your shoes shined, ready to go, carrying yourself in that professional attitude, not blown up or cocky or anything like that, just knowing that you know that you belong there, that's going to go a long way to helping you manage the game. Another question, what's the best thing about being an umpire? Wow. I guess it comes down to just escaping my day. For that couple hours each game, I'm no longer Matt Overstake the husband, Matt Overstake the father, Matt Overstake the grandfather. I get to be me. I immerse myself in the game. I think I'm fully in tune with it. It allows me to forget the stresses of work and life, and I get to be around kids, which I love. Hopefully that rubs off on me, and I become younger as I umpire them. I just love the game of baseball. I get that from my dad. His love of baseball wore off on me, and I look back on my childhood watching, the Chicago Cubs back home in Iowa with my dad, and hearing him talk about the game. Seeing all the great players from my youth back in the '70s and '80s, and that's how I got into umpiring. Is I just felt a pull that was no longer playing. I was just played baseball in my youth. Didn't even play, any high level ball. Just was just a player on the team. I was a catcher. Played a little bit of third base, but mostly catcher because I was as my mom would say, husky, a little bit bigger kid, a little wider, pretty good hands. So it made a good spot being a catcher, and I thought it was the best seat in the house. Every play on the field and every pitch, I had control of. I had the ball in my hand, so it was fun for me. And it just now I'm in my mid to late 50s. Still, this game is as fun to me today as it's ever been. Let's see here. What's the easiest age group to officiate? I'm gonna get in trouble for this from some of my bros in the umpire community. My favorite and easiest group for me to officiate is upper age girls fast pitch. In fast pitch softball in general. As for me as an umpire is so much easier. It's so much more enjoyable to me personally because my little linebackers with lip gloss, I call them, they are mean. Anybody that has a granddaughter or daughter in general knows girls are tough. They're in many ways a lot tougher than boys, believe it or not. And when it comes to a game of softball, they're complete savages on the field. They will reach over in the opposite batter's box and reach out for an outside pitch and put that ball into play. Very rarely do you see walks. These girls are going to put the ball in play no matter where it comes. Over their head, they're going to tomahawk chop it. They're going to slap bunt it. They're going to drag bunt it. They're going to put that ball into play, and they're going to field that ball, and they are going to wing it. And I like the shorter time limits. Most of them are, hour 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes. The girls don't lollygag around the field. They hustle in and out. They're over there chanting, acting a fool in the dugouts. I know a lot of people don't like the chanting. I don't care. Baseball is a game of all five senses, and noise is part of that. And their walk-up music and the music they play between innings, I have no problem with it as long as it's clean. Music, I have no problem with it. If you do old Blue a favor, rock some of that old 70s and 80s stuff. Amen. Little AC/DC never hurt anybody. Then I like all ages. They all come with different challenges. Older kids, it's better baseball. Let's be honest. But then the attitudes filter in a little bit more. Kids watch too much YouTube, watch too much professional sports, and they think they can mouth off on the field, which that stuff gets shut down quick. But I like the girls. They're all fun. They come running out there with their ponytails and streamers in their hair, and they're having a ball. They are very encouraging to one another in the good and the bad of the game. Coaches and even the parents, they all seem like they know the rules a lot more than in baseball. And that's not a dig against baseball. There's just as many great teams on the baseball side. But just personally, I'm a big fan of the girls fast pitch softball. And that was what I first started when I became an umpire. I didn't come in like most people. I started out, got certified, and my first game was a high school. I think when I first started, they were just regular season fast pitch games in Oklahoma, and with the shortage umpires back then when I started, next thing I knew, I was doing super sectional play as a first year umpire. So I kind of got baptized into it fast. Shout out to Stan Payne up in southeastern Oklahoma. He's the one that talked me into coming out, and Stan was my partner for first couple seasons. So I learned from one of the best softball umpires in our area, and so that was my first love. But I also did high school baseball, upper age youth baseball, even umpired for my own kids, and they'll attest to you there was no favoritism there at all. I mean, if it was a strike, it was a strike. I don't care if I lived with you or not. Let's see here. Explain what obstruction and interference is. Oh wow, that's got to be coming from an umpire. Okay, in Major League rules now, I think the official term is OBR, official baseball rules. That's going to be in your number 6 area of the rules, 6.01. I'm going to take the second one first. What's interference? That's going to be your A through G rules. Basically, interference is a penalty that's going to be normally called on the offense. It's basically where an offensive player impedes, hinders, confuses, or obstructs the defense's ability to make a play on a ball or on a player. You're going to see that in catcher's interference. That's really not defense, but a batter interference, running lane interference, running to first base, that type of stuff. Look it up. I encourage everyone to look up the rules and learn them. Case book in the back is priceless. Obstruction, that's going to be the latter part of the 6.01 rules, somewhere around G to H. And obstruction is usually on the defense. You'll see obstruction a lot on a high pop fly to deep outfield, and as all the infielders are turning around with their mouth open watching this ball fly to the wall, a run around into a bag will bump into either first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, or something like that. Good umpire's going to get that call right there, and he's going to just shout, point at it, shout obstruction. You're going to get that call right off the bat, and then there'll be, if there's any penalties to be assessed on that obstruction, it's basically the opposite of the offensive interference. If you impede, obstruct, hinder, or confuse an offense, a runner usually, ability to get to a base or make it to a next base on advance, on anything like that, that's what those are. Like I said, look it up. Umpire Bible is a great tool. I'm in it daily, looking at case studies. Also, another good website is Umpire Empire. Get into the forums they have there, and they discuss every type of play that's come up, and the rules concerning them, applications rules. It's a needed asset for umpires. How do you handle mouthy fans? I don't. Fans are not part of the game. Nor shall they be allowed to be part of the game. There's a reason why there's 3 teams on the field: offense, defense, and the umpires. We're the only unbiased people out there. I don't care who wins or loses. I just want the game to be played safe. The best team wins. I don't try not to conversate with the fans much as possible, but then again, I'm gonna tell them good morning if they say good morning to me. I'm going to be very approachable with them, but fans aren't part of the game. Unfortunately, when they're sitting 5 feet from you and there's 9 umpires behind the home plate umpire, yeah, we have to hear it, but umpires got to have thick skin, can't have rabbit ears, let that stuff flow right off to your back. If it gets out of hand, they get disruptive to the players and myself. But call time, go to the head coach and tell them they deal with their fans, or if they don't, the fans are going to be gone, and so is that coach. Let's see here. Please explain the infield fly rule. Okay. That's in the 5 series of the OBR. I think it's 509, 5.09. Infield fly. Basically, it's with runners on first, second, and third, less than 2 outs. If there's a high pop fly hit in somewhere near the infield or short outfield, the batter is automatically out, and runners may only advance at their own peril. over the years, I've learned to slow down on this call and just not see a pop up and automatically call it. Um, the fielder has to, under normal ability, be able to field that ball. If that ball is coming up to the top of the apex and start on its way down, usually umpires should not be looking up at that ball. You ought to be looking at the infielder, see where everyone's settling. If you have a fielder or fielders settling under that ball, that's when you call the infield fly. Basically, it's to stop a dropped fly ball and pulling the offense into a double play. It's kind of the same idea that drop third strike is, that you can't sucker them into a cheap double play. That's basically, in essence, what the infield fly rule is. Scroll down here. These are some great comments. Keep them coming in, guys. Great questions. Do you talk to players or coaches during the game? As little as possible. Not to be rude to them or think I'm better than them. Pre-game, it's always, we get chatty when a new, the first inning of the game is the first. If I'm in the field, the first base coach may come up, we'll shake hands, talk a little bit about the weather, comment on the field conditions, stuff like that. But once the game gets started, I got a job to do. I will talk to the players, first baseman, say how it's going, bud. Maybe a fist bump, stuff like that. I will give a shout out to plays on the field if it's it's just a whacker type play. I mean, a boom boom double play. You'll see me out there, give them the double fist, pump at them. Good job, guys. Way to hustle. If there's one player out there I talk to probably more than any is when I'm on the plate, I'm talking to the catcher, especially the older kids. It's helpful to coach a catcher, especially if they're on the money and they're hitting their pitches. I mean, it makes my job so much easier. But that catcher is protecting me back there. You're sitting duck on pitcher and catcher get crossed up, and he thinks it's going to be a breaking ball low and away, and then here comes a 89 mile an hour fastball right down the pipe. Catcher's going to miss it, and it's going to hit me. Hopefully in the mask, dead on. Hopefully if it does hit me in the chest, it hits me dead on. Unfortunately, pitches that get away from pitchers usually find a way to get through your equipment and get you in the collarbone, inside shoulder socket type thing. So that catcher's out there doing me a favor. He's protecting me back there to some extent. You're still sitting duck. You're going to get nailed. It's just part of the game. If you can't take it, it's probably not a good spot for you. So I'm tracking that pitch as it's coming in. I'm looking at that pitch coming right in my face. You can't flinch. You just got to take it. So I'll work with the catchers. If they're not getting that pitch on the outside corner at the knees, I'll say, hey, buddy, you're gonna have to stick that pitch. You can't let that glove drop because I can't sell that as a strike. But if you stick that pitch, I'm gonna give it to you. It's just things that you work on, and I'm probably more friendly with the catchers over the years because they remember me. My voice is pretty distinct back there when I'm calling balls and strikes. What is a drop bat? Okay, basically you'll see that when you go to the store, any sporting goods store, you hear people say, I got drop 3 bat, I got drop 5 bat. It's basically the the length of the bat minus the weight. So if you have a 31-28 bat, 31 inches long, 28 ounce, it's a drop 3 bat. It's just a way of measuring weight of the bat basis the length. As the kids get older, there are restrictions to what minus level bat they can use. Basically, from little kids all the way up to 13. I know USSSA last year changed that rule, so let's say up to 12 years old, you can use up to a drop 12 bat. So you can have a factor of 12 difference between the length and weight. When you get up a little older, they'll go to drop 5 BB core type bats. It takes a little bit of heat out of the bat, so these infielders aren't just getting pummeled by a ball that's coming out at just way too high velocity, and it stops being about baseball, and now it becomes about player safety. Okay, Okay, now following that same vein, what is BPF? You'll see that on stickers on the bat. Most bats we see around here in Texas are 1.15 BPF. Basically, what that is it's a performance enhancement of that bat. You'll hear sometimes people call it the trampoline effect, as if say a ball in BPF is where they have a stationary bat and a ball is shot at the bat. They measure the relative speed coming off that bat. So if a 100-mile-an-hour ball hits that bat and the ricochet speed is 115, that would be a 1.15 bat performance. What is BB Core? Okay, that's for the older kids. And that is the same trampoline effect, but it's now a stationary ball hit by a bat moving 100 miles an hour. It's the same principle, but a little different because we all know that a ball reacts differently when it's struck than when it's thrown at something. Throw a ball inside your house and enter your house at a ball. It's a completely different thing, but they all arrive at the same thing. BB core is basically a minus, I think it's 0.15. So it's a little bit of a deader bat, so it's a little safer. Usually used by some of the bigger kids because these kids can. It's not uncommon to see some exit velocities off some of these batted balls that are pretty high. I mean, as high, if not higher than some younger high school players. So it's about bat safety and player safety. What is the USA bat standard? Wow, you guys are just killing me here today. All right, this is some great stuff. USA bat standards. They came out a few years ago. USA bat did when USA baseball came into existence, and USA softball when they took over ASA. It's basically their standard is to try to get the bat performance back down near what a wooden bat would be, or a one-piece bat. Now you have multiple piece bats out there, carbon fiber, that kind of stuff. These bats got a lot of pop in them, and an unsuspecting infielder could end up getting very seriously hurt. I've seen some kids really get tore up out there, third baseman, shortstops, that they're just not ready at these younger ages to feel the ball that is just coming at them. I've been hit by some of these baseballs that I can't get out of the way, and I'm expecting that ball to be hit. I'm watching that pitch going in. If I'm in the field, I know where that swing is at. I know where that ball pretty much got a pretty good guess where that ball's going, and I can't get out of the way. So these bats are real hot. So that was the whole idea behind the USA standard. It's a deader bat, just to take the pop off the baseball. I know a lot of larger organizations like Little League. You have Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken. I'm trying to think of Dixie Youth, Dixie Boys. Pony now has adopted the USA bat standard to make it a little bit safer for the kids. Dizzy Dean also has. NABF, National Amateur Baseball Federation, they've also adopted it. So it's just to keep the kids a little bit safer on the field. What are some of your favorite baseball myths? Episode 2 and 3, I got into a lot of these. Just a couple off the top of my head. Hands are part of the bat. No. Sorry, coach, they're not. Hands and bats are sold separately. Go to the store and look. You find a set of hands attached to a bat, buy them and bring them and show them to me. Until then, hands are not part of the bat. If a batter's swinging and gets hit with a ball on their hand as they're swinging, I'm sorry, coach, that's a strike. It's a dead ball strike. If that's strike 3, the batter's out. He's walking back dugout with a sore hand. If it's foul ball, it's foul ball. But hands are not part of the bat. Tie goes to the runner. Oh, yeah. I've always heard that. No, by rule, runner is out when the ball reaches the base before they arrive. That's a rule. It's also a judgment call, especially when you have a fast runner and a slow throw. two objects at different angles are converging on one point on the field. That's where being in the right position, being stopped, being set, my head square to the play, I'm in the wedge, and I make the call. Over the years, some would say, "Oh, you watch the foot, listen for the pop." Well, unless it's a throw from a great middle infielder, that pop may not be there. You have to see the play, and then you make the call. Half the people are going to be upset, half of them are going to be happy. You're not going to win. So make the call, stick it. Stand by your play. I mean, you call it. You may hear it from that coach. Doesn't matter. Coach, it's my call. We don't argue balls, strikes, fairs, and fouls, or anything like that. Turn around, walk back to your position. Give the coach a chance to say his piece, and move on. Another one, only the home plate umpire can make a balk call. False. Any umpire in the field can call a balk at any time. You balk, I'm getting that call. Especially these younger kids and they're pitchers, they're nervous. I don't ticky-tack them, but if you're playing upper level, majors or above, AA, AAA, we're going to tell the coaches at the home plate meeting, we're going to call the balk straight up. I'm going to call that as if I was doing a minor league game, college game, high school game, major league game. I'm going to get that balk. Okay, that's an unfair advantage over a runner. It's a trick kind of thing. But if it's just poor mechanics, if they're younger, especially spring and fall ball, we will, in our league, rec league umpire, we'll give an instructional warning. We'll call the balk. We'll not advance the runners. We'll just go up and tell the pitcher, hey, you need to come set before you throw. You move that, you moved your foot, when you were set, stuff like that. Help them through it. And I don't want to scare a young pitcher off the mound, but it's a rule. We have to enforce it. Sometimes it makes us pretty unpopular in the field, but let's see what else. What do you think about the Houston Astros cheating scandal? Stealing signs have been part of baseball since it began. I steal signs from teams as a field umpire. You give me 5 batters that sees your battery, I got all your signals already, and that helps me too if I know the pickoff's coming. I'm already gives me a little leg up on the situation. I'm not going to turn and watch for it. I just know it's coming, so then I have a little quicker look at the throwback over to first or second or a throw down or something like that. But stealing signs, they got caught. They ought to be ashamed of themselves that they got caught. But baseball will go on. You don't hear much cheating in softball. I mean, that should be kind of a lesson to all of us. Play the game. The history of baseball has been full of cheating over the years. I grew up with some of the best spitball pitchers in baseball. Pine tar on the glove kind of stuff. They get caught, they get punished, and the game moves on. That's the beauty of baseball. How many games do you umpire every season? Not as many as I used to. On average now, I'm getting a little older. My days of in the sun are coming to an end, sadly but surely. I used to average between 500 and 700 games a season. Now I'm averaging somewhere between 400 and 500. With the coronavirus stuff, it's probably going to be less, unfortunately, this year. But the best part of living down south here, especially in Texas, we play 11 months a year. 11 and a half sometimes. We can play all the way. Some seasons I haven't stopped. We stop for the holidays, a couple weeks around Christmas, New Year's, and then boom. High school scrimmages start, boom, and we're gone. And some years, it's just foot on the throttle. We don't even let up. What is the definition of a legal strike zone? Wow, yes, strike zone. Each umpire has his or her own strike zone. The legal term for a strike zone is basically any area right above home plate, 17 inches, 12 down the sides. And the black ring around the border around the plate is considered home plate. And basically, lack of better terms, is basically below the letters of the jersey, half the distance between the midpoint, they say, at the top of the shoulders and the uniform pants. So that's pretty much right across the middle where the letters are, and to the hollow of the kneecaps, the bottom part of your kneecap. Both sides of the plate. Younger kids, youth, we're going to give you a ball each side of the plate. Of course, the older kids in upper level baseball, that strike zone gets a little tighter. We're not going to call it Major League Strike Zone because we ain't played in Major Leagues. We don't have a pitch tracker, all that stuff out there. It's a judgment call. One way of getting on my bad side real quick is started talking about my strike zone. I've worked on it for a long time. I'm pretty sure about my strike zone. I've been told by a lot of evaluators over the years when I go to these camps that I have a very large strike zone, but very consistent. So that's travel coaches and these elite coaches love a big strike zone. It encourages the kids to hit the ball. If you're gonna sit there and wait on a ball from me, if it's close, I'm gonna get that strike. Umpires like strikes and outs. We got things to do. We got games to play, and we want to encourage good offense and good defense. So, yeah, that's my strike zone. Looks like that's about it for that round of questions for episode 1 of our YouTube channel. We'll come back from time to time. Hopefully, if the anchor thing doesn't come up and doesn't work out for us, I'm going to try to pop as many of these out since we're all sitting at home. I went through just about all the YouTube I can of baseball videos. So you have any questions out there, hit me up on Facebook at Matt Overstake, 3 and 2 podcast on Anchor when it comes up. Hit me up through Facebook Messenger. Keep the questions coming in. Topics to talk about. Let's celebrate this great game that we all love, and we can keep this thing rolling and kind of get us through these lean times where there's no baseball on TV unless we're watching the international leagues, and I can't believe they're still playing, but some of them are. But stay safe out there, guys. Keep practicing. I know it's kind of tough when you can't get in the cages and you can't get out in the practice fields. Most of them got chains around all the gates. That doesn't mean you can't go out in the driveway and throw the ball around with mom or dad or your little brother, older brother, family member. Go out there and throw it up on the roof and roll it down like me and the Overstake kids we did with a kid. We throw them up on the roof of the barn, field it that way when we couldn't get enough kids to play a pickup game in the backyard. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm going to sign off. Have a great day and stay safe out there, people. Bye.